Hey guys, Adam Good here. Welcome to Workshop 1A. Today we'll be covering building a client base, how to screen appropriately, and dealing with conflict. The reason it's important to understand clients' preferences is because upon acquiring new clients, you are being paid to provide a service to your clients. So it's absolutely essential that you understand what your clients' preferences are to make sure that that's going to be a solid relationship. Whether it be the time that they're wanting to train, the type of training that they enjoy most, if they prefer to be training with a male or female trainer, and obviously specifically what their goals are as well, is going to make you have a really good relationship and make sure that it is turned, that relationship, that rapport that you're building can potentially span over to a training relationship that can last a period of time. It's extremely important to have a sound understanding of your client's needs by means of programming and safety for your client, because we want to make sure that any client that walks in your door or is going to be using your business's services is going to be looked after. Your programs or just the service that you're providing is fulfilling their needs as a client. It's very easy for a trainer to make the assumption that anybody that walks in your door, it's your mission to save their life, where a lot of people may just come down and want that little bit of a kickstart into their exercise, or they may just be wanting to look at a little bit something different that they're doing. They may just need some accountability to be making training a consistent part of their week. And until you really establish that ground there of what it is that the client is wanting to do, you could be potentially pushing and pulling in the opposite direction. I think one of the most common expectations is clarifying the type of service or the type of relationship that a client is looking forward to or expecting when they're coming down to use your business. A really common trap that people can fall into is clients and trainers falling into the friend zone with each other. Easily forgotten, it can be that conversation that was had in the early stages of the relationship of the goals that somebody was wanting to see, the weight that somebody was wanting to drop, the improvements in strength and fitness that they were wanting to acquire. Once established that common ground, or you get comfortable with each other, can really easily turn into the client is turning up, having a little bit of a chat and doing some weights together, where you really need to fall back on and remember that this client is coming down and paying you to provide a service. They are paying you to achieve some goals. They're paying you to get results. So it's really imperative that you make sure, as well as having that rapport with your client, that you are being employed to get that person results. Our biggest focus down here at Rhino in terms of acquiring new clients is we're under the understanding that you can acquire clients pretty much only by two ways. So you can either get somebody results, and that's just going to be a walking billboard for people to refer and come down here and start training and using your services, or you can ask people. So if you've got people that are doing really successful things, or you've got people that are really kicking some goals, you can ask them and say, hey, I'm trying to build my business. I've still got some vacancies left where I'd like to put on some more PT clients. Have you got anybody that you can think of that might be interested in coming down and using our facility? Or alternatively, people that aren't going so successful and you would like them to be benefiting from your services a little bit more, what you could be doing to influence more people that they come into contact with regularly to get down here and help them stay accountable to their program. So really the only things that you can do is get a client results or ask. I guess coming under that umbrella of asking though is any ways that you're putting out leads to show what your business is about. So for us down here at Rhino, we're trying to have a big emphasis or a big presence on social media, not necessarily just to try and lure people into our business and acquire more members, but to get a little bit of a presence out there for people to know a little bit more of what we do as a business if the time does arise that they are looking to make a change or they are looking for a new training facility, that we could be somebody that pops into their mind to come down and use us. The best strategy that I've personally ever used is, I think last year we had a very successful campaign in the launch of our 8-week challenge. We run 2 challenges a year down here at Rhino, which is a results-based challenge. It's purely based on attendance and who can see the greatest transformation over the course of 8 weeks. The first time ever, Ryan and myself put our heads together of how we could really tap into the emotional side of things to try and acquire people people to come and be consistent for this 8-week period, and we actually ended up having over 150 people last year take part in our 8-week challenge, and I think that was largely due to the effort that we put in with launching the challenge originally. So we had a big campaign that was all based around the 8-week component of the challenge and the potential outcome that you could see through having 8 weeks of consistency. Here's a bit of a look at that campaign right now.
8 weeks.
To make your health and fitness more of a priority than it's ever been before.
8 weeks.
To make the commitment to do the things you don't want to do. 8 weeks.
To stop living for the weekend and be relentless in pursuing your goals.
8 weeks.
To cut the bullshit and start fueling your body with what it deserves.
8 weeks.
To surround yourself with people who want to see you succeed.
8 weeks.
To make your family proud. 8 weeks.
To feel better.
8 weeks. To move better.
8 weeks.
To look better. 8 weeks.
To change your life.
8 weeks.
Join the Stampede.
There's many different ways that we can acquire new clients down here at Rhino, but the system always stays the same. We've wanted to make sure that our trainers have a really firm understanding of the initial starting process of a new member coming to Rhino. Upon making contact with that client, it would generally be via email or phone through Ryan or myself, and we can establish already over the phone or via email what it is that that client is looking for. So if it is briefly just to come down and have a bit of a chat and find out our services, we're more than happy to do that. But if somebody is contacting us saying, I really need to make a change, I've got some goals, I basically want to start training with you guys, take me there. We get them in for their first goals and movement assessments. That's a really essential part of somebody initiating their training down here at Rhino. Initial goal session is getting an understanding of what they are wanting to achieve or the results that they're wishing to see. Upon completion of the goal session, we then flow into our movement assessment, which we devised with a local healthcare facility, which is a little bit of a strength and mobility assessment to have a little bit of an idea where that client is currently situated and what we need to do in order to get them to move better, to feel better and look better. So that's sort of our motto down here at Rhino. We want to make sure that people are also moving better. It's not just about signing up, yep, I want to lose some weight, here's a kettlebell, start swinging it around. We need to see how people are moving. If they're tight in their hips, if they're experiencing lower back pain, if they're struggling with their squat or their hinge, if they can't retract through their shoulder blades, what these sort of things are and how we can devise specific programs to complement those things. If they've got poor work habits where they're constantly slouched over a desk at a computer, things that we need to get them to focus on consistently to build a stronger foundation for their training. After a lead turns into a client, after you've established what a client's goals are for their training, and once you've completed that movement assessment, you can make a pretty educated prescription of what that client should be doing within your business. So how many times that they should potentially be seeing a trainer a week, maybe what group sessions that they should be attending and what other exercises that they should be doing. A little bit different to just selling PT sessions, we try and really drive our memberships, because all of our members down here, whether they be doing one session a week with a personal trainer, 2, upwards of 3 or 4, all of them are able to come down and use their facility at their own discretion, like it's their own gym. And we've got a number of group sessions as well that they're able to attend. So there's so many options down here for people to use Rhino as their one-stop fitness shop. Our membership costing down here is purely depending on the amount of personal training sessions that a client is looking doing per week. But upon making that decision, it's all immediately encouraged that they understand the value of coming down here, using the facility, attending the group classes, and using Rhino to achieve their goals. The most important thing that you could do upon your first interaction with a new client is make sure that the client is the one doing the talking. It's really, really easy to get a little bit nervous, flustered or overwhelmed, like I felt I used to do a lot myself, and you're the one that's taking the reins, controlling the conversation and talking maybe a little bit too much, when really you want the client to be in the driver's seat. You want to be able to pull as much information as you possibly can from that person to find out what the hell it is that they're doing sitting in front of you. The biggest thing that you can do is ask as many open-ended questions as you can. For example, one of the best things that you could do is, upon filling out their pre-screening questionnaire, if they're writing something down like weight loss. So Jane, you've written down here, weight loss is a primary goal of yours. Tell me a little bit more about that. Why is it that you're wanting to see weight loss? How much weight is it that you were thinking that you wanted to lose? By asking questions like this, you can start to understand a little bit more about why that person is sitting down there and how important their goals are to them. It's really important to make sure that the client is there asking as many questions as possible. You need to be able to establish that rapport with a client so you guys have a close relationship and feel comfortable with each other. And the more questions that they ask you, they can start to be confident that you are the solution to their problems. Upon the circumstances, if we ever found that there was a client that was not happy with the service being provided or had some sort of disagreement or something that needed looking into, Ryan and myself would immediately follow them up with a message or email to try and organise a time to chat over the phone face to face and see what's going on and what we need to do to potentially resolve that issue. In the past before, I definitely have experienced conflicts myself personally. Aside from the obvious things of the financial side of things or disagreements or client contracts and things like that, it is just really important to make sure that any disagreements or conflicts are addressed absolutely immediately. When working in a service-based industry, it is going to happen from time to time, hopefully as minimal as possible, hopefully really not often at all, that there will be somebody that's feels as though they have been disrespected or harassed or something like that, and the majority of the time it just comes down to potentially a clash of personalities. In the past, if ever anything like this has come up, it purely has been possibly a misinterpretation of something or a breakdown in communication, where once both parties are brought to the table, a simple apology can be offered and moving forward in the right direction. I think when you are representing a business and you are a service-based business, it's so important that communication is the key. We are working with different people. We're working with both males and females every day. We're working with the elderly. We're working with younger people too. It is just so important that you have obviously a level of professionalism that you do maintain, but if these circumstances do arise, that you have the professionalism and the maturity to communicate and make sure that your members feel comfortable at all times coming down and using your facility. For any trainers out there or for any business owners out there that are currently dealing with or have dealt with before disputes or any conflict with members, don't think that you're the only one out there, or don't think that you're the only one that's experienced something like this, or necessarily that you have done something wrong. There is people that you're going to come into contact with in the business world that you're just not going to see eye to eye with. And I think that at times you have to sit back with your business partner or with your team and make the decision, is that the type of person that we really do want to have in our business or not? You want to try and saturate yourself, surround yourself with as much like-minded individuals that really appreciate your business and you appreciate your service as well, and trying to see what you can do to attract as many members like that as possible. A good lesson for any of you students watching this is to make sure that you do have that good understanding of providing a good level of service, being mature, being professional, and at times if something does arrive where there is a conflict to occur, make sure you're getting feedback from your manager or your team to understand if there is something that you could have maybe done differently, because a lot of the time as a trainer it's our job to really bend over backwards for people, to make them feel comfortable, to make them feel welcome, and at times, you know, it really is not that uncommon that you can get walked over by people that just things may not just be good enough for them. We can give and we can give and we give, and unfortunately there is sometimes just people out there that things will never be good enough for. So don't try not to take it too much to heart. Focus on the people that really do love the service that you're providing. If I was an athlete and I was looking to acquire new clients, there would be 3 things that I would be primarily focusing on. The first would be, for your existing clients, get them results. Do what you need to do to try and get those people to achieve their goals. Upon achieving that with those clients, or even clients that aren't, you want to be asking for referrals. Always be actively pursuing new members. Whenever we get stagnant, whenever we're treading water, you're more likely to go backwards than move forward. So even if you're content with the position that you're in, we should always be looking to move forward. The third thing that I would have to suggest is content on social media. This doesn't mean that you need to turn your personal Instagram account into one that's health and fitness related, but people should easily be able to identify the fact of what you do for a career. If you work in the fitness industry and you're passionate about helping people in health and fitness, it shouldn't be hard to identify that that's what you do, because you need to understand that as soon as somebody hears about you or your services, the first thing that they're going to do is go onto social media, and they're going to be easily able to make the judgment or make the decision if you're the type of person that they want to train with or not.